Coach, thoughts on Wisconsin, what they've done so far, and the challenge that they present?
Big team. I'm wondering if the fields are going to be wide enough. And they play extremely hard. Run, effort. It's, I had the pleasure of coaching Chris Borland a few years back. And, I mean, it's a team of Chris Borlands. High energy, tough, guys that can run, and big physical team. Very impressed.
Right in front there, Adam.
Jim, sorry. Looking at Hornibrook, that was his first start against a very good team defensively. You guys, strong defense. What do you think of that dynamic? The two defenses and then two young quarterbacks as well.
Yeah, it's very interesting from all those perspectives. Alex had a heck of a good ball game. Really acquitted himself well. Made a name for himself. Very impressed with how he played, the accuracy of his throws, poise with which he played. It was impressive. Wilton has also, been impressive in that regard as well. I mean, playing with great preparation and confidence and poise. Unusual, for to be that new to playing. Really in big games. I think back, when I was in the same age as they were, the same kind of experience of playing the first couple ball games. They're doing, both of those guys, doing better in my mind than, I did and some other guys did when we were young, and playing with more poise and awareness and preparation and confidence, all those things. So both those guys have been impressive.
What is it like
in that regard?
I'm sorry. What is it like? I mean, he's got to go back to back on the road, Michigan State and here. I mean, and it's, going back to his first start. How big is that for a quarterback? What does that do to a young quarterback who's trying to get settled?
I think he acquitted himself very well. I mean, he's been in that. He's had that experience already, right? So I think he'd be very confident in what he can do.
Coach, right behind Adam, Pat.
Jim, having a player like Jabril, how much has that kind of, tested your staff's creativity and flexibility as far as finding ways to integrate him in different areas?
Just over and over again. I mean, it's daily with the team where look what he did there, look what he did today, and he does it with real genuine enthusiasm for practice. So those eye-popping plays happen every day, and it's you give him something new. For example, whether it's an offensive snap, and he hasn't done it before, then he goes out to practice, and everybody's just looking like nobody's done it that well. Guys that play that position don't do it that well, and now the thing we just kind of look at each other. Players will other players and players to me, or me to other players. He's really good at football. Jabril's really good at football. That's kind of become what we say. And I think it says it all. I mean, he's a football player. Jabril Peppers is really good at football.
Jim, I think it was the second series of the game. Davion blew up a couple guys in pass protection. How is he the most proficient guy in that sense on this team? And how hard is it for a back to make that and to become a very solid guy in pass pro?
It's a process to become a good blocker as a running back, and I've seen that process from not be able to do it at all to become very good at it. He takes a lot of pride in it. Backs that have that, where they take a lot of pride in being a pass protector. Frank Gore's like that. wanted to be the best pass protecting running back in the National Football League. And, you know, he took a lot of pride in doing that, and I think he was. I think he was the best I've seen. And Davion is, you know, he's doing the same thing. He takes a lot of pride in it, wants to be extremely good at it. He is the best pass protecting back on our team, and he's very far along in being a good pass protecting back, which is something that when you draft guys into the NFL, you know, you see good running backs come in. That, I mean, we're starting at the beginning here and teaching this youngster how to pass protect. But he's far along in the process. He's good.
Coach in the middle, Dan.
And you mentioned you thought Jeremy Clark was probably an ACL on Saturday. Do you know for sure whether he's done for the year or not?
Yeah, he tore his ACL.
And then where does that, I know you get Jordan back this weekend too, but where does that leave the secondary as far as depth and having a lot of guys to rotate through? And do you lean more on some of those freshmen now as they come along in the next couple months?
Yeah, I think so. I think there's Brandon Watson, who's you know, we trust as a good football player. You mentioned Jordan Lewis, is a great football player. And then both David Long, Lavert Hill, you know, we're going to step to the fore now. They've been practicing and playing a little bit, and now they'll be called on.
Over here to your left, Coach Rachel.
Khalid Hill made a big impact again this weekend. What have you seen as far as his development as fullback goes? And what do you project for him as he goes forward?
Really good things. I think it's his spot. It's his real natural position for him. He's tough. He's got the size and the strength to, you know, be a prototypical type of fullback. Got the catching ability, and he's got the added attribute of being able to run with the football. And sometimes people don't even ask the fullback to do that, but you know, he's got that added ability as well. So just keep progressing. I think he'll have a chance to play that position, make a career out of it. I really do.
Coach over to your right, Nick.
Jim, I think Jeremy's at 30% or whatever that rule is. Are you guys going to entertain trying to get a 6-year for him?
Yeah, we'll definitely look into that and try. Yep.
Coming in the front here, John.
Staying on the same topic, Coach, he gets put on the cart, your whole team comes out there and surrounds him.
Yeah.
What's that say about, you know, how they feel about him and maybe the closeness on this team right now?
This says a lot. I don't know if I've ever seen that before, and it was that way in the locker room as well. I mean, we came together as a team after the game in the locker room, and half the team went into the training room to see Jeremy. And he's a highly respected person on our team.
Mark.
Jim, you mentioned on the TV show that the rotation of the backs, you felt that helped them be fresh and that they've all gotten into the role, you know, through 4 games. Is that something that, you know, was the design from the beginning? Is that something that's evolved through time, and do you plan to kind of continue to have all 4 the whole season that way?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, both those things. It's evolved and it was designed, and I think really four running backs have really shown that they belong, and they can make plays and deserve to be out there getting playing time.
Have you done something like this before, where you've had so many guys and no one's gotten really more than 11 or 12 carries?
I don't know, maybe similar, and not quite 4.
Are there obstacles to that?
Yeah, I mean, I think, I don't know that there are, you know, I don't know that I've ever seen obstacles to multiple good players, you know. Always looked at that as a good thing. I guess if you took the less is more philosophy in life, you might be able to find an obstacle there. I've always subscribed to the more is more. More always seems better. More good football players always seems better. But you're off the topic there?
No, I'm just wondering, like, so people talk about rhythm.
Oh, yeah, you
rhythm
asked
and-
me, what is that? Yeah, I think so, yeah, that was brought up,
Yeah.
that was brought up the first week.
Right, sure.
Yeah, rhythm and
Mhm.
getting somebody in a
Right.
groove and kind of that kind of thing, so. I suppose that would be it, yeah, for somebody that's, you know, less good, you know, less is more. It comes back to that. Just go back to more good football players is more, stronger team.
Coach, over to your left here, Chris.
Coach, at what point in camp did you realize that Devin Asiasi was physically ready to play, and talk about his progress so far?
What point would that have been? Pretty early, you know, the first third of the training camp, within the first week and a half, 2 weeks. And, yeah, physically ready. And then, that's a position that takes a lot of football awareness, and there's a process there, and learning all the things that a tight end has to do, because they're so involved in the pass game, and they're equally as, in terms of volume, involved in the running game, that it's a lot. Especially, you know, for somebody that is really good at blocking and really good at running routes. So he's really in that process of becoming an expert, a polished guy, but it's way ahead of schedule, because he's a smart football player, and he's mature and physically talented and gifted, and gives a lot of effort. So, you know, it's accelerated, you know, he's already into the AP tight end play in college, taking the AP courses now as a freshman, and it's exciting.
In the middle to the right there, Brendan.
Jim, the program as a whole hasn't beaten a top 10 team since like 2008. At this point in, you know, your rebuilding of the program or that whole process, does a game like this carry extra weight in terms of, you know, believing that you can win games like this, or do you think that was taken care of last year?
Well, you know exactly where we're coming from there. We started at the beginning of the season saying that, looking at every team on our schedule as teams that we were going to have to highly prepare for, and respect would be at the highest as well going into each and every one of those games, and we would have to, you know, have our best week of practice, and play our best game, knowing that we'd be tough to beat, and every opponent on our schedule will be treated that way.
Over here in the league.
That's what we're striving for.
I have two, Jim. Brian Monet, any update on his status coming for this game?
Yeah, could be you know, hopeful for this game, and we'll see today. But I mean, we're hoping that they practice this week, and possibility he plays in the game.
My second question, I don't know what kind of relationship you have with Les Miles, but your reaction to his firing, and is he someone that you could possibly bring in as an analyst or even as an honorary captain this season?
Yeah, those are. Yeah, I have good suggestions.
Well, I mean,
I have respect. I have utmost respect for Les, Coach Miles, and Cam, and you know, I haven't talked to him yet, but I hope too soon.
We're on the right side, Nick.
Jim, with the run game, offensive line, was that as solid a day from Eric and Kyle on the right side that you've seen in a while here? I mean, they looked like they were moving people all day long. Or am I off on that? Was somebody else better?
Yeah, I know, I would agree. I think I mean, the right side was very good, and I'd also point out Grant Newsome. I thought Grant had his best game, and probably the best performance on the offensive line was with Grant. And as a group, I think they're really playing well together, gelling, and good to see. I like so many things. There was Davion had his, you know, boy does he run hard. Gosh, he he had one of his runs early in the game where he broke in there 6 or 7 yards and then bounced off a tackle, did the spin, kept going. Somebody's trying to hit him and he's still going and just running so hard. And that is, but to watch our offensive line pursue, that's what really got me excited. Was our offensive line knows it too when Davion's running the football, and they're pursuing. Their pursuit was almost as good as our defense's pursuit, and that's gotten better because they know that they got a chance to get downfield and make a block. And J.U. Chesson on that very play had the best pursuit of anybody on our offense, and he was even down at one point on the ground and got up and ran and got ahead of Davion and made a block. And here comes our line pursuing from the backside. So it was a run from about our 30 to about their 40. If you're thinking along this note, if you know the play, but that was our offensive line. I'm complimenting them in the regard that they're pursuing, and also they know when Davion's running that that there's a good chance that he's going to break a tackle and he's going to run strong, and they get in position to make a block for him. Same with our receivers. That's good football.
Time for a couple more questions. We'll start in the front right. Mark?
Jim, you had mentioned after the first game that Kareem was going to focus on academics and not be with the team, but in terms of practicing, is that going to change, or is that going to be the whole season?
Kareem and I talked on Friday, and it's going really well. It's going really well right now, and it's a positive, and we'll see. It's since it is going so well, I think that's something that we'll continue to do, and I think the best. He'll probably, at this point, he would redshirt this year, but the main focus is that he is to see him excited about class and he's having success and he's doing well. We'll see how it goes, but he's also physically training and working out with the team, and but yeah, there was an excitement and enthusiasm that he has right now about academics and school that it's been a real shot up in that regard. So kind of we'll see, but right now very positive.
In the middle there, Adam?
Jim, you guys, not that you guys haven't played physical up to this point, but you guys have shown a lot of big play, a lot of finesse and speed. Do you feel like the Wisconsin game will be an opportunity for you guys to really showcase your physical side, that hard edge stuff that especially defensively, like Don Brown's been talking about since he arrived here?
Yeah, whenever you're playing a very physical opponent, and very good opponent, then yeah, there's an opportunity to show what you can do out there as a football player. I always believe that. Good football players, that's kind of why they get together for games. Good football players going against each other to show who the best is. That's the best thing about football, that competition.
Right behind Pat?
One more Pepper's question. Has it been a case where you have gone to him and said, hey, let's try you with these other things, or has he been coming to you and say, I want to do other things, or how's that work?
Yeah, he's made it clear that he wants to do as much as possible. So that isn't so that isn't in question, and there's no question that there's all of our coaches, special teams, offense and defense, they're like a bull with their paw on the ground. They want Jabril involved, and then this past Saturday, there were times last year. I don't know if you noticed our bench, but we have a big squad and a pretty tight area there on the bench with a lot of players, and there were times last year that, hey, give me Jabril, where's Jabril? And this past Saturday, I would just say, Jabril, and he'd be, yeah, I'm here, coach, right here. And he was literally, 2 feet behind me. So I know he's he's the same way. He wants to, he's like a bull, you know? Pawing at the ground, ready to attack, so it's good. I mean, sometimes I didn't even get, Jabril, and he was, I'm here, coach, right here. It's exciting. He's good at football.
Last question up front, Angelique.
I don't have a mic. Drake Johnson was in uniform Saturday.
Yeah.
Was he injured and is he available? I mean, if he's in uniform, I imagine he's available to play?
Yeah, he had a soft tissue injury that came up before the first game, and he's worked his way back, practiced last week, and getting back to action. Mm-hmm.
How many plays was Jabril in 2 weeks ago? Do you know, in the Colorado game?
Yeah, I can't remember. I track it. Can't remember. It was.
That seemed like.
He had the highest amount of plays that week, not this week. Ben Braden had the most plays at 80. I think 2 weeks ago, 80 to 90.
Okay.
But it hasn't been as much as some of the games last year when he was playing both ways. But I can get that to you.
I'm just curious.
You're talking about the Colorado game?
Yeah, because it seemed like he did so much in that game, but I think he had more offensive snaps later in the season last year, so that's bumped up his.
He's also had the most stickers each game.
Has he?
Yeah, the most Wolverines stickers each game.
It's like maybe a new stat.
Number one ranked.
In the notes.
4 weeks in a row, he's number one ranked.
How many does he have now, Dave?
I haven't seen the list.
He's got just under, after 4 games, he's got just under 40.
Who's second?
Maybe 30, but he's got 37, 36. Who's second?
They're close.
I can find that out.
We're gonna need
Yeah,
a
keep
chart
the
every
list.
week of that.
Changes. Pardon?
We're gonna need a chart every week of
You
that.
want a chart? I can provide that.
If we're not gonna do the depth chart, you gotta at least give us a sticker chart.
Okay.
We can,
That would be
There you go.
beneficial, I can give you
You
that.
can do that.
All right.
so no depth chart this season though, right?
Huh?
No depth chart this season, right? You're not gonna provide a depth chart this season. You were talking about giving us stats, so I was just wondering if that was.
Yeah, maybe I'm open if that's, if that's something that would be beneficial, or Dave Adloff, amongst his peers, feels like they, for respectability, if he wants a depth chart, I could be persuaded to do that. I think you know my feelings on it.
Yes.
It's a very outdated task. Found the best way to do it is just you watch the tape of the games, and we know the opponent's depth chart, truest form, rather than rely on the public relations director of each team. That's something you want, Dave?
I'm agreeable to whatever you decide. And I think the number
Okay.
was 83 plays for Jabril in Colorado.
That sounds right. He's a crackerjack.